Hey there! I know it's been a long time, but I just wanted to hop on and make a quick video about our plans for Easter school. Christmas got me again this year. I always have so many ideas for videos that I just had to put my family first and don't get around to making those videos. But I am here to make a video about Easter school, like I said. So if you have seen my past videos about Christmas school, you can probably guess what this is going to be. It is on a much smaller scale because, first of all, the Easter season, so technically we're in Lent. I read a book, a Christmas book by Douglas Wilson that changed my perspective on always having Lent be a more like somber season to recognizing that we know how this story ends and that we can spend the entire season of Lent celebrating. And I know Easter continues after that as well. But I just want to do a better job as a mom celebrating Easter like we do a really good job celebrating Christmas, if that makes sense. So during December, we usually take the month off of school in like the full day expanded form, and we do a smaller bits and pieces of like a little bit of math, a little bit of language arts, so and then add in a bunch of Christmas stuff like crafts and baking and just anything that you can think of, Christmas activities, all that kinds of good stuff. So the idea is to kind of do the same thing at Easter, except Lent is 6 weeks long. So we're not doing it for that whole period of time. But I am trying, my goal is to just do like one special activity every week of Lent. So I'm just gonna share our general plans, and they're not like even super educational. It's just the extra Easter stuff that we want to add in, if that makes sense. So starting on Ash Wednesday, I have a Lent candle wreath. It's kind of similar to Advent candles, where for Advent there's 4 and then a Christ candle. And each week as you get closer to Christmas, you light another candle. Well, for Lent, we're doing the opposite. We have 6 candles, and each week as it gets closer to Good Friday, we are extinguishing 1 candle. So I pull those out and I have them in like a wreath that kind of looks like a crown of thorns wrapped with purple fabric. So for Ash Wednesday, we pull that out and keep that as like the centerpiece of our dining room table. And then I have 5 activities leading up to Holy Week that it's my goal to get through this year. The first one is kind of a cheater one because it requires basically no work for me, and it is the Young, Wild, and Friedman Easter Play-Doh box. If you have not seen their Play-Doh kits, they're incredible, so much fun. And the Easter one is really cool. We haven't received ours yet, but we'll be getting it soon, and I know the kids are absolutely gonna love that. So that's the first one. The second one will be some sort of a Easter themed watercolor. Last year, I think I went through a lot of Let's Make Art's past Easter ones, and I couldn't really find any that were Christian per se. Like, you know, it was all like cute little bunnies and stuff, which is great. I'm not opposed to that. But I was looking for something more Christian themed because just like Christmas, I want Easter to be about what it's about, Jesus's death and resurrection. And so I'll check her first because I really like her stuff, but I will look for other YouTube channels or classes where I might find a cool watercolor class and then or tutorial. The next activity, this is going to be the true test, dyeing Easter eggs. I have never dyed Easter eggs with my kids. They are 8 and 6 years old, and we have not ever gotten around to it. So if we can accomplish that this year, they would absolutely love it. I couldn't really care less, but I know that they would absolutely love to finally get to do that. So that's one of our activities. The next one is empty tomb rolls. I can proudly say that I've done that with my kids, and if you're gonna have to choose between the two, empty tomb rolls taste a lot better and they have a cooler spiritual meaning. So, you know, I'm gonna count that as a win. But if you don't know what they are, I think it's usually done with a crescent roll. You take a marshmallow, dip it in butter and cinnamon sugar, then wrap the crescent roll around it. And like you do this with the kids so they can see. Then you bake it, and while it's baking, the marshmallow melts, but the crescent has like stayed in the shape as it's baked. It doesn't fall. So it stays in that round shape. So then when you bite into it, it's empty, which is supposed to remind us of the empty tomb. Hence the name empty tomb rolls. Also, they're delicious. So you can find the recipe anywhere if that's something you're interested in doing. And then finally, egg Jello jigglers. That is also a family tradition that we've been doing. I did that with my mom when we were kids. I actually have her jiggler mold. I know they're hard to find. I don't think Jello sells them anymore, but I think you can get them on eBay. And again, Jello tastes better than eggs. Egg-shaped Jello beats hard-boiled eggs. So that has been another thing that we have done not every year, but a lot of years that we're planning on doing again. And that's a fun one to do with the kids. So those are my plans for during Lent. Like I said, not super educational, but just like the extra stuff that takes more time and I just want to make a point of doing. And then during Holy Week, there is a possibility that we'll actually take some time off of school and like ramp it up even more. But specifically, there are a couple things that we'll do then. One is going to be our Easter blocks. Now this is new this year. We have been using Good Kind Co.'s Advent blocks for years. We use it's right here, their Graticube. We keep this on our dining room table and play with it often during dinner. You roll it around and whatever it lands on, that's what you have to list something that you're grateful for. I love their stuff. So I'm super excited to finally be doing the Easter blocks this year. But that doesn't start until Holy Week. And then the other thing that we're doing, I made a video for it last year, but we take 12 eggs, a dozen eggs per house, and we pick, like 5 to 10 families, some family friends, and we fill 11 of the eggs with candy. The kids put on like Easter bunny ears, and we go quietly sneak up to their house as fast as we can, hide the 12 eggs. One of the eggs is empty. And so usually while the kids are hiding the eggs really quick, I will take a little, just a little sign that I cut out that I make that basically says like, Happy Easter, you've been egged, go find the eggs. There's 12 in your yard, but there's one empty one, again, to remind us of the empty tomb. So we did that for the first time last year. Like I said, I made a video doing that. It was a blast, and we definitely plan on doing it again. I think it's a special way to love on your family and friends and like easily share the gospel with them. Like, who's not happy about being surprised about, eggs being hidden in your yard, and, are very receptive to like, oh, that's cool. There's one empty one for the empty tomb. And then finally, sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm trying to go so quick. Finally, Good Friday rolls around, and we always attend a Tenebrae service. If you have never attended a Tenebrae service, definitely check out churches in your area. Not saying that you need to switch churches, but just go visit one for the night. I know a lot of Lutheran churches, that's usually where we end up, is at a Lutheran church to go to one. It's a really neat service. This is kind of where I got the idea for our Lent wreath from. Tenebrae is, I can't remember how many candles, maybe like 7 or 9 candles are lit on the altar at the beginning of service, and the scripture passages of the night of Jesus' death are read through in different portions, usually with so it'll be usually like a scripture reading and then like a small, super short sermon, and then a candle gets extinguished. And so during the service, it's just getting darker and darker and darker. And, if there's ever a time to be more solemn, I think Good Friday is it. And the service usually ends with a pastor either slamming the Bible shut with, it's Jesus saying it is finished, and he'll slam a Bible shut, or sometimes they'll use a nail and hammers to represent Jesus being nailed on the cross, different things like that. It's just a neat service that a lot of churches unfortunately don't do, but it's one that's it's a special tradition in our family. So we do that, and then actually we usually go out to a nice dinner afterwards. Or I might cook a nice dinner, whatever. It's just again, you still know how the story ends. Jesus rose Sunday morning, and that he was alive, and that he is alive right now. But it's just nice to take a moment. That's the other thing too. Everybody leaves the church in silence. So it's dark. Everybody leaves very quietly. I don't know. You have to experience it to appreciate it probably. But that is usually our Good Friday. And then Easter morning, we are at church, and then we usually go to my husband's parents' house and celebrate there with our whole family, eat a yummy brunch, and do some games and another Easter egg hunt for my kids, and it's all a big celebration then. So that is really quick, as fast as I could talk, sum up of our Easter plans / Easter school. I hope that you are making some special memories and building some traditions in your family this Lent season. I would love to hear what some of the traditions are in your family. So if you could leave them in the comments, I will definitely be checking that out. Have a good one.